Beware outbreaks of fist bump epidemics and you-demand affirmations possible.
Welcome back to Dad Space, podcast for dads by dads. And when you meet a great dad who also has books and resources for men and dads and all that great stuff, you bring them on the show and you get to introduce them to your audience. I'm excited to have Jon here. We're talking about all things about his new book and his dad journey as well. Jon, welcome to Dad Space. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Jon, let everybody know where you are in this big world of ours.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, originally from California, but I've been here for 14 years, met my wife here, so I stayed.
Nashville is obviously the home of music. There's a lot of music there. Do you have a favorite style of music?
I do. It's not, well, Nashville is all music now. It's not just country. But my least favorite music is country. But I like rock music, old hip hop music, really anything.
All right.
But country.
Country. All right. Is there a dad song that you crank and everybody in the car has to listen to, no matter what?
Oh man, so many. But probably anything Nirvana or Nirvana or Cranberries is definitely.
All right.
Family likes it, but they're like, do you ever get sick of this? Because I've been listening to it for 25 years now, but no, I don't get sick of it.
I love music and its impact on our kids growing up. I think anytime that we can introduce stuff that we love, it gives them a little taste of who we are as a human as well. Yeah. And then to see your kids respond to music and love what you love and enjoy it is so cool. To see them dancing and bopping around and they're like, this is a really good song, Dad. You know, that's nice to see.
We're definitely a music family. We do quiet hour before bed and we'll put on a vinyl record. I like going back to analog. So it's we all have our favorite types of music. My wife will put on Celine Dion. My kids will listen to the K-pop Demon Hunters or Taylor Swift, and I'll put on a Cranberries unplugged record. So we're all, and then sometimes we just have dance parties.
Full on dance parties, right? Yeah.
Full on.
I got my granddaughter into Bruno Mars has a new song out. And she just loves, as soon as she hears like the first second or two of the song, she's like full on, like, let's go. Right.
Yeah.
Just any kind of that kind of stuff. So it's cool.
I love that.
Awesome. How many kids do you have, Jon?
2. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son.
One of the reasons why I started the show, Jon, was to connect with dads who are maybe early in their journey as a dad and feel completely unprepared for what's ahead for them. Had you had a podcast when the kids were young and you were still trying to figure out your path in life, what kind of stuff do you think would have been helpful to hear from a fellow dad when you first started your journey?
Yeah, just that I wasn't alone in some of my thoughts, my struggles, how much my marriage would change after kids, how to deal with that, what my wife was going through, postpartum depression, all of that. Definitely, we just figured it out on our own. We didn't have anybody really telling us what those things were or that how much our marriage would change. The only advice that we got from surrounding people were just, it's hard, but you'll be fine. You know, so I think if somebody explained that a little more to me, and we both come from very, I don't want to say emotionally disconnected, but just not emotional families that really express themselves. So there's not much talk about struggles. Yeah. It's just kind of like, if you're struggling, that's life, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I think just to have names for things and to know that I'm normal, know that we're normal would have been helpful.
Growing up, did you have any men in your life that were kind of role models to you, your own family or outside your family?
Yeah, my dad's always been great. My dad's worked a lot. He worked a lot growing up. My parents went through a bad divorce when I was 14. So things that I didn't understand back then that I understand now about him. He was going through a really rough time. So I definitely relate to that more now as a dad. But he's always been such an honest, authentic person, and he's always been very self-reflective. So despite all of that, we were, as I matured and got older and figured out my stuff, we were able to, I was able to make sense of what he was going through more, and he was able to kind of express what that was. But, some mentors, some not so good mentors, I think as young men, we are always looking for mentors in other men. Whether it's through coaches, older brothers, family members, whatever, we're always looking for that older person, somebody older than us that knows more than us, that kind of will guide us. And sometimes that guidance, even though we're looking up to that person, sometimes the guidance isn't always great. But we look up to these people so much, and we're starving for that mentorship or whatever, that we just listen. And then as we get older and have families of our own and some of this stuff, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's not really how I want to do things. I don't really want to do things. And you kind of can separate from those individuals as you get older and realize what that was. But as young men, that's why it's so important that the dad is that role, that the dad is the father, is that role. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it is, fatherless households, sometimes it isn't. But hopefully that mentor in their life, the young man's life, is a good character and a good example.
Yeah, I think growing up, I didn't realize fully that my dad was a human. He's my dad, right?
Sure.
He's like bigger than a human. And it's like he's done this before, but I was the firstborn. So he was figuring out everything for the first time with me. He's never been a dad before.
Yeah.
But as I watch and see him as I'm growing up, I just always assumed he knew what he was doing. But he was kind of learning on the job, right?
Absolutely. It's their first time living too. Yeah. And I have a passage in the book about you're not Superman, and that's okay. And it's kind of explaining that story when I was 13, 14, when my father told me him and my mom were getting a divorce, and he was just so defeated in that moment. And the short 13 years before that, he was Superman, and I never saw a defeat from him. He just always figured it out in my young mind. And in that moment, when he was just in the middle of his bedroom, hair looking like Albert Einstein, just stressed from work, life, and just really defeated, like really a rock bottom for him, that I realized he's human. And that, I think men and dads in general can feel like they just let the foundation go. The foundation just got shattered and they're a failure. But showing your kids that vulnerability, showing your kids that you don't have it all figured out, and you may not be Superman, but you are still their hero in how you deal with adversity. Like, that is the strongest form of man. So, it's okay if you mess up. But it's such an opportunity to show them how you deal with that, and so much respect looking back on how my dad dealt with it.
I think it helps your kids to learn to figure out the tools to work through tough times too, by watching you build in public. Like you're building your life in front of them. So don't hide that stuff from your kids, right? Yeah,
and it relieves the pressure from them, because they're, oh, my dad never messed up. My dad did, he just figured it out. He's great. And maybe on the outside, but maybe on the inside he wasn't. And allowing your kids to have permission to struggle, and then to guide them on how to get through that is where the real good stuff is, right?
And then as your kids get older, like your kids are getting older, they start interacting with other families. They see other dads, other parents, and how they parent in their homes, and they compare it to you. And then they kind of get an idea of maybe how good it is at home, or how that other house does it better in their mind. And they're forming their own opinions of what a good dad looks like, right? Just by seeing other families.
Yeah, it's so interesting. As kids, we just, our normal is our normal. We don't, our house, no matter what size it is our house, and our front yard is our front yard. And we just don't really think about, we don't have that comparison yet. The comparison is the thief of joy as you get older. And I think it's important for parents and to make sure their kids know that it doesn't matter. And, when you look back, you go, oh, and maybe on the flip side, maybe it was a bad situation at home and you just thought it was normal. You thought, oh man, every parent yells at their kids like this. Every parent puts their kids down or whatever.
Yes.
And then you go to parents' houses or you go to other people's houses and you say, well, their parents talk to them so nicely. And you start to realize, oh, maybe it's not normal how I grew up.
It's interesting. Yeah. Because we're giving as we parent, we're giving our kids the tools to decide how they want to parent. It's interesting too, because kids will grow up and once they get into teenage years, they'll be like, well, I'm going to do it different than you did, Dad. I'm going to be better than you when I have my kids. And I'm like, you know what? Your kids are going to say the same thing about you. So, yeah, we're all still a work in process. Right?
They're going to say something. And that's the thing is it's just perfection is unattainable. There's no perfection, but there is generational curses you can break. And one by one, each generation breaking more and more is getting better and better. Yeah. And there's just may be some things you mess up. You haven't healed and it's not there yet. But I found that the most beneficial thing is no matter what you do, how you mess up, it's how you recover from that. So how you apologize, if you apologize. And the same thing with marriage is if you just let these arguments happen and just kind of give a little apology and move on, that resentment builds and builds over time. And those little cuts and bruises over time develop into a scar that you remember forever. So it's important. Okay, I yelled at my kids. Now let me explain to them why, stressed out, this and that, Dad's got a lot going on, and apologize that is unacceptable behavior and kind of take ownership like that as the parent. And that's, again, showing them that you're human because they're doing it too, right? They're throwing tantrums and you got to guide them through that instead of just saying, you're a bad kid for throwing a tantrum, get in the other room and that's it. They're throwing a tantrum because they just spent 8 hours at school and they're extremely tired and they're overwhelmed and they do not know how to compartmentalize that. So you have to guide them through it.
What kind of things do you do as a dad intentionally with your kids? Like, I have to make an effort. I have to plan this out. I got to think this through, and I do this on purpose. What kind of stuff do you do with your kids?
Like when they're acting out, or
just like to connect with them, like in a regular week. Do you have something like a date with your daughter or something like that?
Oh yeah, I mean that's not as structured. We always try to spend one-on-one time with them, each of them. At least I would say once a month is realistic, but we spend a lot of time as a family together. But that one-on-one time is important. I would say once a month. Me and my wife split up bedtime. We switch off every night. So that's a really important time for us. Like I mentioned before, we've started this year a quiet hour. It could be anywhere from 15 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on the night, how much we had going on. But we just tried a quiet hour, just in a room, playing a record, reading. My daughter's a phenomenal reader. My son's starting to read, or he can draw, any craft, anything. And we just sit there kind of quiet, whisper, and it's really nice to calm down. And then some nights we'll go separate, and we always have conversations with our kids. So how their day was, anything. They usually give up the most information right before bed, right? Asking them after school, or it's just kind of, oh yeah, this happened, yada, yada. It's very short, but then right before bed, they start opening up about what really happened or what's really on their mind. And I think I'm like that as an adult. It's for some reason I like to think about everything all at once right before I go to bed. So we always do that every night. And I mean, when they get home from school, we try to have family dinner at the dinner table, like an organized dinner if there's not some sort of sports activity most nights, for at least 4 nights. And that's when we say, hey, what was a good part of your day? What was a bad part of your day? Instead of just, how was your day? Yeah. Saying how was your day to kids is, you might as well just say nothing, because you're not going to get a good response.
Yeah.
So what was the high? What was the low?
Yeah.
And then, that's a conversation, and then another conversation happens later at night. So I would say those are the most consistent things. And then on top of that is the one-on-one time once a month.
You mentioned your new book. What is the why behind the book? What kind of brought you to write this?
Yeah, the why is to bring fathers into the conversation of parenting more and on a deeper level, not just dad jokes level, not just how to change a diaper level and the task-oriented stuff, which is important. But I wanted more. I wanted the mental struggles of being a dad, the constant pull of being emotional provider and financial provider, wanting to be home more, wanting to be just as involved as mom is, domestic labor of the house, working with that, being just as involved, how your marriage changes after kids, what I felt alone in. I wanted to help dads feel less alone in that. And just everything, the mental load of fatherhood, everything that I think about has resonated with so many people on my online community that I wanted to just continue to spread this message and bring fathers into, because there's more and more, as we can see, involved fathers in this generation. So I just wanted to kind of continue to put dads on the map. There's just not a lot out there for dads. They're becoming more and more, but on a deep, deep level, there's not a lot. It's very surface level. It's very black and white thinking. Dads are this way, moms are this way, and there's a lot of overlap. And I just wanted to bring that into the conversation. And ultimately, the most important thing is to make dads feel less alone in their struggles.
One thing I always kind of push back on is that on television, like The Simpsons and a bunch of other shows, dad is always kind of framed as this bumbling fool who can never do anything right. And he's kind of a joke. He's not even like, we don't take him seriously. And, he's really just, he doesn't know what the heck he's doing. And he's kind of like comedic relief.
Exactly.
And mom always has it together. Most likely moms have it together more often. I agree with that. But why are dads always painted seemingly as like inept, like just not effective? And I'm like, I don't always like that stereotype of a typical dad being that way.
Yeah. It's when I became a dad, I didn't understand it before. And those are the dads that I saw growing up. Al Bundy, Homer Simpson, Modern Family, in every movie, it was always, even if you go back to, and then it's always, if you look at every like 90s dad, even 80s dad in every movie, it always starts out with the dad is just working and that's it. Like he's always picking the job over the kid, right? In Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's always that. It's in the Santa Claus, right? Yeah. Every Christmas movie is the dad is working and putting his job before everything. In the movie Hook, which is one of my favorite childhood movies with Robin Williams, it starts out, he snaps at his kids because of a phone call. And his kids were just trying to tell him a happy story. And he just didn't have the capacity for it because he's so obsessed with work. And it just every single movie. So I figured that's how dads were. My dad was better than that, but he was working a lot and he was always stressed with work and with life for good reason. And that's what I perceived a dad being. And then I became a dad, did not relate one bit to any of it. And then I, looked back on, there are some movies and definitely literature like Atticus Finch, Atticus Finch of To Kill a Mockingbird, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great dad and involved dad, and these historic dads that were extremely involved. So I knew that it wasn't always like that, and I never related to it. So, and that's, it didn't come naturally either. I once I had my daughter, I was like, this is all I want to do. I don't even want to work anymore. I want to just be with my child and raise my child and be the best dad I can be. So I don't know where that came from, to where dads they don't want to be dads. I just never related to it. So I think you're seeing more and more rejections of those figures. And I think it's not that funny anymore.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, we've moved on from it. And it's not really praised anymore because it doesn't do good for society.
So this whole thing around the tired dad, what's the seed for you to be your focus, whether through your website, through the book and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Why the tired dad? Why the word tired?
Because it's the easiest way. It's the most universal term for parenting. Every single parent knows exactly what you mean by being tired. I just take it a step further, that if you love to do something, we've all loved to do something, say it's a sport, and we practiced well beyond exhaustion. We always wanted to do it. And despite being tired, it didn't stop us from trying to get better. And that's exactly how parenting is. It's maybe some of the most exhausting work you've ever done. But for me, it was always worth it. Every sleepless night, when my kids ask me to play and I'm so tired and then I do it, I always feel better. I feel like I'm putting in that work. And that's, I think, maybe tired is not defeated, and maybe we're not tired of parenting. We're tired from parenting. And maybe it's just something that happens because it's really hard raising human beings. And it's kind of a badge of honor. It's kind of like when you run that race and you get the t-shirt at the end that I survived the race and it was so hard, and you put all those hours in training and you ran the race and it was painful, but you got to the end, you got that t-shirt, and you're going to wear that t-shirt because you completed a part of the mission.
Yeah.
And that's how it is when your kids, at the end of the day, you're exhausted, tired, and they just say, I love you, Dad. Or you find out they were kind to somebody else. And these qualities that you're instilling and have been instilling for 10 years are finally coming to the surface. And that's kind of like that t-shirt. It's just that moment of, being tired is it's going to happen. I think if you're not tired as a parent, what are you doing? So it started out as funny, kind of like a dad joke, because it's so universally relatable. And but I realized, we're all tired, but it doesn't mean we're over it. It means that it's just how it is, because we're putting so much work into it.
Like you were mentioning with that movie with Robin Williams, how he just lashed out in that moment. Sometimes being a tired dad, we're not really who we want to be as a dad, right? We're reacting because we're exhausted. It's like that candy bar, chocolate bar commercial where the person is somebody totally different. And they're like,
Yeah,
here, eat
Snickers.
this. Yeah, eat this because now you're going to be the real you, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that reaction for us as dads. We get short with our kids. We have little patience. We're not kind to our wife, our partner, like because we're just so exhausted all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest moment to be emotionally regulated.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, to not yell at your kids. But if the intention's there and we still do it, just like we're still performing at the sport despite being extremely tired from putting so much practice in before, and we still thriving, or I guess not thriving, but surviving. And when you can do it in the exhaustion, within the exhaustion, that's what it's really all about, because it's going to happen. And you can't just use that you're tired as the reason why you're always snapping at your kids. Life is hard. Anything worth anything is hard, right? So we're going to mess up, of course, but we're going to keep going despite being exhausted and tired.
So the subtitle for your book, 100 Reflections on Showing Up for What Matters Most. From your thought in the moment, is there a reflection that you can kind of share that's going to be in the book that we're going to read that it's meaningful to you right now for you as we're chatting?
Yeah, well, I like I mentioned before, a really meaningful one to me personally is the Superman.
Yeah.
You know, you're not Superman, and that's okay. And it's the story of what I just talked about with my dad, seeing that he was human. There's one about my grandfather, man, a character. He was a Los Angeles sheriff during the 60s or the 50s. And he's just talking about doing the right thing, even when it's not the right thing. And to have that character, despite it not benefiting you, potentially not benefiting you. So just standing up for what's right, even though everybody else is doing it, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make it right. And to always be grounded in your character. So both of those relating to my father and grandfather, and that man of character being passed down generation to generation, and just getting better at that is so important for me as a dad, and to show my son, to show my daughter, to show my wife. It's very important. And there's so many about my daughter's profound realizations before bed that is also very meaningful. Like there's one called Circles of Love, and she's just in her, at the time, her 7-year-old mind, just her insight to how the world is and how we're all working and why we're here. And it's just her brain developing, and the imaginative, the just her creativeness, and how just it's so beautiful to see and to hear her talk like that. And it's just that moment of where the here and now, and to listen to your children, and that they're not always going to have this outlook on the world. As they get older and more mature, they're going to see maybe I believe this and I don't believe it anymore, or it's just going to look different, right? So just to see the development in them and the way their outlook on the world, and just kind of let them go and let them kind of figure it out, is a beautiful thing to watch. But we can't watch it if we're not present, right? So it's just a reminder to keep that perspective and to stay present as a parent.
I love hearing a dad who acknowledges learning from their kids. Right? I love that, because as adults, we might be defaulting, well, they're going to learn from me because I'm the adult and they're the kids. But when kids come with that unique stuff, like your daughter, like that, and you can internalize it and go, wow, like I'm going to learn something from this. I'm going to apply it myself. This is great when our kids teach us.
Yeah. And I think that's my favorite thing about life is learning, learning from other people. And I think we can get so stuck into a box of we can only learn from people older than us, or we can only learn from people that share the same beliefs as us. And that's just such a disservice to yourself. Like, I've learned so much from my children. I've learned a lot from my 5-year-old son. It's we get stuck in this, I'm the parent, I know everything. But you've lost a lot of because the world, as you grow up in these man-made systems and everything, you can lose a lot of that. I don't know, that way of thinking, that there's a simplistic but also profound way of thinking that we learn, that we lose as we get older. And our kids ground us in that what really matters, and also just how we treat people and our patience, and just an optimistic view. I think we lose it sometimes as we get older. So it grounds us. And I love to learn from all people, little, big, old, young, everybody with different beliefs that challenge my beliefs. And I say in the book that I think your children should challenge even your beliefs, and that I want to tell my kids to question everything, even if it's, and to even question me. And I think that's how we learn and develop into the best human beings for the world.
I love the conversations that you have with your wife on Tired Dad, Tired Mom. It's the two of you are very real. Like, you're not hiding anything, you're not acting, you're just being the two of you, having some great conversations together. What does that mean for the two of you to create content like that together? What does that do for you as a couple?
Oh, very beneficial. Yeah. And we didn't always used to be like that. We've been married almost 14 years, and we got married pretty quickly within 11 months of meeting each other. And so there was a lot of growth and learning through marriage and a relationship with two different people. And we weren't always great at communicating. You know, I think everybody says just communicate as husband and wife, just communicate. But it goes beyond just communicating. You have to effectively communicate, because you can communicate and just be complaining the whole time about how somebody is doing something that you don't like. And then they just get defensive, right? Because the way you're saying it is just offensive. It's just not productive to the conversation. So when and especially when I stopped leading with my ego and started and not taking everything as an attack, and her not taking everything as an attack, that we could go, oh, okay, yeah, we're different. We're different in that way. So how can we take these differences and work together to make us even stronger? And that's when we became a real team. And when we became a team, we realized we can conquer a lot together as an effective team. And it started with effective communication. So now we're in a place where, we hop on the podcast, and we didn't want it to be like a produced podcast of let's plan out what we want to say, what are the hot topics right now. We want it to feel like these are the conversations that we have on the couch at night too. Yeah. And we're just sitting down on this couch and we're just talking. And this is where we are in our marriage. This is where we are in our relationship. This is where we are in our parenting journey. Come join us for this conversation. Everything's on we're pretty open now. And we just feel like our vulnerability helps so many people, because a lot of people don't want to say the truth. They don't want to say the full truth. They don't want to be fully vulnerable. It's scary. It doesn't come naturally for us, and it didn't come naturally for me. I held everything in most of my life. So, but I realized that I think it's my duty, and I think it's selfish to keep it all to myself, because there's so many people that need it. So vulnerability is freedom to myself by expressing it and getting it off my chest. And then it's also freedom to other people that they don't feel so alone, and that it kind of makes sense now to them.
So, Jon, if you could give the listener the words to describe the Tired Dad, Tired Mom podcast, how would you want somebody to explain it to somebody else? If you weren't there to qualify it, fill in the gaps, I'm going to talk about your show on your behalf to my friends, my other family members. What kind of words would you want us to use to describe the show?
Authentic, real, raw, unfiltered, in the best way.
I like that.
Yeah.
And 2 points of view, right? It's not one person talking about their marriage. It's the two of you together back and forth. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring her on. And that was, that took some time too for her to, and she has such a good story. Yeah. She's been through some stuff as a young girl, and I think moms also need it too. They also need that. Moms have it. The comparison thing with moms is brutal. The judgment from other moms is brutal, way more than dads. Yeah. Dads don't really judge other dads like moms judge other moms.
Right.
And it can be such a disingenuous society for moms. We're looking at people that, it's just not real. It's not authentic. There's a lot of fakeness that comes in motherhood, and more moms stepping out and being like, no, this is actually how it is. And this is not normal. That's a rare, occurrence or whatever. And that vulnerability also is freedom for mom. So I wanted her to come on and be authentic like that, so she can give that mom perspective, the real authentic mom perspective. And then I give the real authentic dad perspective. And then we come together. And I think, the world needs more of that. I hope more couples start doing that instead of just saying what they think other people want to hear. Just say what you're going through.
Is there going to be a companion book to Tired Dad as a Tired Mom book down the road? What do you think?
Maybe. Right. I do have an idea for another book that I just really want to dive into a deeper subject of raising families. That's not entirely dad focused. That's also marriage focused, mom focused, and just in general of our mission as parents. And really the most important job we have is being a parent and raising the next generation.
As far as the book, is it out right now, Jon? Can we get a copy?
We can. You can. Yes.
Okay.
It is out in the world. It's been, what's today? May 11th. It's been out since May 5th.
Oh, wow. Good. Congratulations. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, almost a week. It's been a lot.
That's good.
You get so tired of talking about yourself.
I get it.
Yeah, and in today's age, in today's world, marketing for something used to be mention something 4 times. You have to mention something 4 times. And now, because there's just a lot of mediums out there, you have to mention, my publisher said you have to mention things 14 to 20 times before someone hears it once.
Wow.
So imagine that. So yeah, it's exhausting to say, okay, this, but no matter how much you promote it, no matter how much you talk about it, you'll get a message and it will say, I didn't know you had a book.
Right.
And you go, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I guess that was your 20th time hearing it.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. It's been an amazing journey, and to have to have it just how it came together. My great friend did the cover, designed the cover.
It's great.
My other great friend took the picture as a candid photo of me and my kids.
Yeah.
And just to have my family involved, and ultimately for them to have something forever. My kids are going to now show their kids, and just that is success in my book. And it's just been a wonderful journey in that. And along the way, I hope I help some people.
And the other thing too is you're, as a dad doing content with your wife, you guys, the two of you are building legacy for your kids. Like
Yeah.
I would love to be able to press play on a conversation between my mom and my dad when I was a kid and hear it today. I don't have that luxury. I don't have any of those recordings because they didn't have this back then. So your kids are growing up in a world where mom and dad are kind of a public figure. You guys got a lot of followers on YouTube, for example. Like you're helping a lot of people and you're out there, and they're going to grow up in a world where they can press play and hear mom and dad talk about life when they were little kids and growing up with you guys and the struggles of being a real human as a parent. Like that's such a great gift for your kids to have, and the book and everything else you're doing. Like what a great gift you're giving the two of them. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I don't think about that as much as I guess I should, but it's so true. And there's not much that I'm hiding. So the same with the vulnerability for other people. I'm vulnerable with my kids. We're not that type of family to, oh no, don't tell them that. Like that's how my dad was. And he's 74 and I'm still getting new information out. It's just, I think that generation and some parents can feel such guilt and shame for their past. And, I can't regret my past because I'm here now. And if that didn't happen, then this wouldn't happen. Right. So, living with regret and shame it doesn't do you any benefit. So, and bringing that up, that's probably one of my favorite passages in the book. It's called A Life Made Up of Seconds. And I'm explaining to my daughter because she said, I'm so glad you married mom because I wouldn't exist. And I said, oh, it goes way beyond that. It goes way beyond me just not meeting mom. If grandma and grandpa didn't meet each other, if that in the 1940s, when your great grandpa was on that warship and 50 yards away, another warship got blown to smithereens and everybody on the ship died. If that was your grandpa's, so much wouldn't be here. And you just go back and back and back. And it's almost like it's this life made up of seconds. 1 second goes a different direction and we're not here.
Wow.
So it's just an amazing thought. And it's that's one of my favorite passages for sure.
That's when you contemplate when you're having the quiet hour before bedtime and the vinyl's going and the music's going and you're just like, wow.
Yep.
Wow. Life is full of seconds. I love that.
And here we are.
John, I'm going to be thinking about it all day now, John.
Yeah.
This is good.
Look at that.
See? All right. So beyond the book, beyond the podcast with your wife, it's a great conversation on that show. What are you looking forward to down the road as your kids get older? More content? Do you just keep building? Like, where are you going with this?
Definitely more content. I love it. I love to do content. I come from a film background when I was younger, always since I can remember, into movies and music. I'm not great at making music, but love listening to it and putting it together with videos. I've always loved to do that. So creating impactful content that people can resonate with and continuing to write, and hopefully these platforms like Substack and stuff become more important in that we go, and also this birth of AI and stuff. Hopefully it stays a tool and we go more and more into that human connection and human creation, that we can all realize that we're all on this journey together and that we're all the same in some of our struggles and our journeys. So to keep that perspective and to just keep an optimistic view of the future and for our children, and that you have the most important job and so much power as a parent in raising the next generation. There's so much power in that because you don't leave much behind in life, and material things, you leave those behind. But what you really leave behind, the imprint that you're leaving on the world is these generations that are going to come after you.
Right.
And it starts with you right now.
Well, Jon, there's a good future for both you and your wife and the kids ahead. I'm excited to have you here. Everyone go over to tireddad.com and you'll see links to the podcast, links to the book. I'm encouraging everyone, all the dads listening, and the 68% of my audience that are female for Dad Space, isn't that great? To go and also purchase the book, leave a great review, and tell somebody about Jon and the book. I think this would be a great gift for any dad who's soon to be dad or new dad. Definitely buy them a copy as well. Just give it to them. There's a lot of great reflections in here, and I think a lot of great value. Jon, again, congratulations on the book. Love to kind of stay in your world, and as a member of your community watching and listening along, I really just want to say thank you to both you and your wife for all the great stuff you're putting out there. I love that you're willing to share, and you're not hiding behind perfection. You're just putting it out there and saying, here's what we're dealing with. Here's some real conversations. And what's happening, I think, from a community member's point of view, as I watch your stuff, is I'm inserting myself into your story, hearing you talk about something and going, what, have I ever been that reflective from my relationship? Have we ever had that conversation that you've had? And I'm kind of learning as I go too. So everyone, you can learn from anyone. It can be your kids, somebody older than you, someone the same age as you, same spot. Be open to learning from other people. I love that comment, Jon, that you learn from your daughter. That's great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed this conversation a lot.
Excellent. Everyone, all information for Jon in the show notes, tireddad.com. Go grab a copy of the book, The Tired Dad. You won't be tired after reading it. You'll be energized and excited, ready to go. So,
exactly.
Jon, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. I really appreciate you being here and making time in your busy life as a dad to listen to a podcast called Dad Space. It's so great to have you here. I'd love to serve you any way possible. If you need anything from me, reach out to dadspace.ca. If you're finding value in the show and you're like, this is great, I wish I could do something to help Dave, it's so very simple. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link on my website, and all the money that comes in from Buy Me a Coffee, I then reinvest in other people who are creatives, they're creating podcasts, they're doing all of those other stuff. I coach podcasting on and on. I like to take that money that comes from you, and I'm very grateful for it, and reinvest it into somebody else. So if you're wondering why that's there, that's what it's for. And if you can help the show and help me help others, then go grab that Buy Me a Coffee link. You can do like even one single coffee is like $5 Canadian. I'd love to have that money to reinvest in others, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for being here. Remember, this podcast is always free. No ads, no commercials to skip. It's all about you. It's all about the content. So thanks for your help. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you so much. I'd love to meet you virtually, email, DMs, whatever. Let's meet. I'd love to chat. Thanks for supporting Dad Space. Talk soon.